As you may know, we have a presidential election this year. I'm not going to tell you what to do or who to vote for, because that's your decision. That's your choice. I'm just going to talk about what I plan to do and my thoughts regarding this situation. Now, obviously, if you haven't heard the various episodes of The Rice Club, I'm a big Bernie guy. I'm on the left, so you know where I stand. Now it's clear that Joe Biden looks more and more likely to be the Democratic nominee, and there's going to be a lot of discussion on what to do and who to vote for. Now, there's no way in hell I'm voting for Joe Biden. Not in a safe state, and not in a swing state. Now, people might say, you just want another Trump victory. Why are you bashing Joe? That hurts the Democrats and helps Donald Trump get reelected. Okay, well, here's my answer. Joe Biden doesn't support the things I want. Why is Joe Biden and the Democratic Party entitled to my vote when they've constantly shitted on everything that I've supported? Joe Biden isn't for Medicare for all. He's not for the Green New Deal. He's not for a wealth tax. He's not for a federal jobs guarantee, and so on and so on. Joe Biden's not for anything that I care about, so why in the hell would I vote for him? Oh, you're helping Trump. Even if you don't like Joe Biden, you gotta vote for the lesser of two evils. Now guess what? Voting for the lesser of two evils gave us Trump. It gave us the present circumstances. Now that was the logic of 2016. Sure, yeah, you might not like Hillary Clinton, but you gotta vote for her because Donald Trump is a really bad guy. Well, look what happened. Hillary Clinton lost. Hillary Clinton was considered the lesser of two evils, and she lost. Now, there's no doubting that Donald Trump is a bad guy. He gave tax breaks for billionaires and millionaires. Just the handling of this pandemic is already bad enough. And his ridiculous foreign policy, he continued the wars in the Middle East and so on. He gutted Obamacare, the absurd, immigration policy, and him trying to ban people from different countries. So there's, it's obvious Donald Trump is not a good president. And, if you're on the left, there's no way in hell that you can vote for him. But it's not like American politics stood still while someone on the Republican Party was just trying to go rightward. The entire spectrum of American politics gradually shifted rightward, since the 1970s, and hell, probably even as soon as FDR died. So it's not like Joe Biden was holding firmly to the center of the spectrum, and it was only the Republicans that were going rightwards. Everyone else was going rightwards. Joe Biden could have been a Republican, especially in elections past. He voted for NAFTA, he supported the crime bill, he supported DOMA, supported the Iraq War, did the bankruptcy bill. He is for fracking. He voted for the Hyde Amendment, and so on and so forth. So he's a neoliberal Democrat of that Clinton camp, but he really could be a moderate Republican if he was running in like elections from decades past. So this is the part where the lesser of two evils strategy doesn't work, and the lesser of two evils crowd doesn't understand. It doesn't work if both parties or candidates are getting worse. American politics have gone further and further rightward, and it breeds complacency. As long as you're just a hair shy better than the next guy, then you act like you're entitled to their vote. But everyone's just drifting rightward. So even if you're voting the lesser of two evils, you still end up with evil. You still end up with a bad result. So it's like, would you rather get your left arm sawed off or your right arm? And, both choices are bad, and we have to fight for a better option. We just can't keep promoting the same option. We just can't keep saying vote the lesser of two evils, because you're still going to get a negative result. Voting for the lesser of two evils gave us our present circumstances. Hillary lost, and if you really think about it, the people in the neoliberal camp, and that's, Republican and Democratic parties, Their policies have exacerbated inequality. We still have 87 million people underinsured or without health insurance. We still have 2.3 million people locked up. We still have, crisis of affordable housing. We still have imperialist foreign policy and so on. So you can say, oh yeah, I voted the lesser of two evils, but look at look at our present circumstances. It's still really bad. It's not like, you get a fresh set of new candidates every single election that's like somehow that's better. I mean, you could do the lesser of two evils strategy if somehow, the next election, both of the candidates were like on the left or was just better than, it was just instead of just a rehash of basically what's going on in 2016. Now, critics might say, well, sure, you might not like Hillary Clinton, you might not like Joe Biden, just vote for them and, keep fighting to push the party left. Now, do you really think that the party that cheated Bernie Sanders in 2016 and is still completely hostile to him till this day is going to get pushed left? The party apparatus and its functionaries are completely against anything, even a hair left of center. They're not going to care about you as long as they get your vote. Just let me say that again. They don't care about you as long as they get your vote. They don't need to be accountable for you. Once they get into office, they don't even have to, make any concessions. They don't need, they never liked the left wing. The DNC and the media were more concerned about beating Sanders than they were about beating Trump, given the relentless bombardment of propaganda and concern trolling. Hillary Clinton didn't even make a symbolic concession to the progressives with the VP pick. She could have picked like Ro Khanna. She could have picked Nina Turner. She could have picked Elizabeth Warren even, but she chose Tim Kaine, who was a conservative Democrat. There's also zero indication that Biden will even tilt to the left, given his awful past voting record on civil rights, matters of economy, trade, and so on. He even was asked if Medicare for all, if it cleared the House and it cleared the Senate and it came to his desk to sign, he was clear in saying that he would veto it. So this guy doesn't even care about, having a left agenda, even if it was in his face. So it's not, this thing about making the party go left seems completely outlandish to me, because the party is completely against anything progressive and anything resembling a social democratic agenda. So I'm not going to vote for Joe Biden. Hell, I wouldn't even vote for him if I was in a swing state. And me not voting doesn't mean that, I'm checking out of the political process. It's because I don't like any of the options. They don't represent me or my views. So why are they entitled to my vote? And, people can shame me all they want. The media called Bernie supporters brown shirts, sexists, misogynists, Russian bots, racist, and we were relentlessly smeared and attacked, and now suddenly I have to vote for the other guy? Some people might say, oh, you're just entitled or privileged. Now, who's entitled or privileged? Me voting according to my values and policies that I really believe in, or someone or a party expecting me to fall in line to vote for them after shitting on me and what I care about at every turn? Screw that. Now again, I'm not saying to check out of the process and just not care. If you vote for the lesser of two evils, you still get evil. And there's a time where you have to say, I don't like any of these options, and start working on getting a better one. By not voting, you're disagreeing with the choices, and that's going to be the opportunity cost for the DNC. So I'm not saying that, you should or shouldn't vote for Joe Biden. At the end of the day, that's your choice, and I can respect that. If you decide to vote for him or not, that's your choice, and I can respect that. All I'm doing is sharing my thoughts and opinions on this matter, and I'm just going to give it to you straight.